You think you have a 100-year contract with life, but you're actually gambling with a currency that's burning while you hold it. Most men don't die in their 80s. They die at 30. They just don't get buried until later. If you're waiting for one day to finally start living, I've got a message from the ghost of your future self. You're already out of time. We all have a ghost living in our house. He doesn't rattle chains or hide in the basement. He sits right at the dinner table, tucked between the bills and the junk mail. He's in your phone, hiding in the Notes app. He's in your bathroom mirror while you're brushing your teeth at 6:45 a.m. on a Tuesday. His name is One Day, and he is the most dangerous person you will ever meet. Because one day isn't a date on the calendar. It's a lie we tell ourselves so we can sleep at night without feeling the suffocating weight of our own potential. We act like we signed a 100-year guaranteed contract with the universe. We walk around with this arrogant assumption that the lights will stay on, the heart will keep thumping, and the open sign will always be hanging in the window of our lives. But here's the cold, hard truth. Waiting for one day is exactly how you die while you're still breathing. Most of us suffer from delusion of the perfect time. I remember sitting in my car 30 years ago. I was staring at the steering wheel, paralyzingly tired. I had this dream, this thing I wanted to build, this person I wanted to be. But I told myself, not today. I'm too tired today. One day, when the kids are older. One day, when the bank account has that extra zero. One day, when I feel ready. Do you know what ready is? It's a myth. It's a fairy tale told by cowards to justify their comfort. We treat life like a movie where we're waiting for the action cue. But the camera has been rolling since the second you let out your first cry in that delivery room. There is no rehearsal. This, right now, the way you feel, the mess in your kitchen, the ache in your back, this is the main event. Think about the logic of waiting for the right time. It's like waiting for every traffic light in the city to turn green before you put your car in drive. You'll never leave your driveway. You'll sit there until your tank runs dry and your tires rot. The right time is a mirage that recedes the closer you get to it. And it all leads to the pain of regret. We think we have time. That's the ultimate arrogance. You think you have 50 more years. That's 50 more Christmases. Maybe 10 more summers where your knees actually work well enough to hike that trail. Maybe only 5 more opportunities to tell someone you love them before their one day runs out. When you say one day, what you're really saying is, I am willing to gamble my soul on a tomorrow that hasn't been promised to me. Every time you push a dream into the future, you are devaluing the person you are today. You are telling your current self that he isn't enough, that his efforts don't matter yet. You are living in a state of perpetual postponement, and that is a psychological slow death. People forget that there is a cost of the safe bet. We stay in the jobs we hate, the relationships that have gone cold, and the habits that are killing us because they are safe. We think, I'll play it safe for now, and one day I'll take the risk. But risk is the price of admission for a life worth living. Imagine you're 80 years old. You're sitting in a rocking chair, looking out of a window. You aren't going to be haunted by the things you did and failed at. No, you're going to be haunted by the ghost of what could have been. That ghost is going to look you in the eye and say, I was the business you never started. I was the book you never finished. I was the father you were supposed to be, but you were too busy waiting for the right time to show up. That is a debt you can never repay. There is no bankruptcy court for lost potential. As you get older, you begin the slow fade. Inside every man, there's a fire. When you're 20, it's a forest fire. You're going to conquer the world. You're going to be the hero. But one day acts like a slow, steady leak in the roof. Drip, drip, drip. One day I'll start the business. Drip, One day I'll fix my marriage. Drip. One day I'll get in shape. Drip. Eventually, the fire doesn't go out with a bang. It just smoulders. It turns into grey ash. You look in the mirror at 45 or 55, and you don't even recognize the person looking back. He looks like a stranger who settled for a life that was fine. Fine is the graveyard of greatness. Fine is what happens when one day wins. You didn't fail spectacularly. You just eroded. You traded your passion for a pension and your dreams for a slightly better lawnmower. And that is a tragedy far worse than failing. Because if you fail, at least you were in the arena. If you wait for one day, you're just a spectator in your own life. It's hard not to fall into the comfort trap. Comfort is a drug. It feels good while it's killing you. We seek it out. The Netflix marathons, the mindless scrolling, the junk food, the maybe next week mindset. But comfort is where dreams go to rot. The greatest men in history weren't comfortable. They were obsessed. They were driven by an urgency that today's world tries to medicate away. They knew that the comfort of today is the regret of tomorrow. And regret always leads to the graveyard of dreams. Have you ever walked through a cemetery and wondered about the wealth buried there? I'm not talking about gold or silver. I'm talking about the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that never left the garage, the I love yous that were held back because the timing wasn't right. The wealthiest place on earth is the local graveyard because it is filled with one days. One day I'll travel. One day I'll forgive my father. One day I'll be the man I know I can be. The dirt doesn't care about your excuses. The worms don't care about your plan B. Death is the only thing in this world that is truly honest, and it's screaming at you right now to stop waiting. Every tombstone is a reminder that the clock doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you had a bad day at work or if the economy is down. It just keeps ticking. The graveyard is the only place where one day finally becomes never. If you don't want to end up like me, you need to change, and you need to start today. If you want to kill the one-day ghost, you have to realize that growth is uncomfortable. It's supposed to hurt. When you go to the gym and lift weights, you are literally tearing your muscle fibers. You are causing trauma to your body. But that trauma is the only way the muscle grows back stronger. Life is the same way. If you're waiting for a day where you feel motivated or inspired to change, you're going to be waiting until they're lowering you into the ground. Discipline is doing the thing when the one-day voice is whispering that you should just hit snooze. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It's there when the sun is shining and you've had 8 hours of sleep. But discipline? Discipline is the partner who stays when the lights go out. Discipline is the only thing that can bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. In the final accounting of a man's life, there is no escape from discomfort. You are simply granted the choice between two distinct agonies. In life, every man must suffer one of two pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You too must suffer either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is fleeting, momentary, over quickly. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. It is the sharp, temporary sting of the early morning alarm, the burning in the lungs during a mile run, or the mental strain of saying no to a distraction. It's making that call, attending that meeting, saying I'm sorry, doing the push-ups. However, the pain of regret is forever. The pain of regret weighs tons. It is the heavy, suffocating realization that you had the potential but lacked the courage. And unlike the sting of discipline, the ache of regret never heals. It will suffocate you for the remainder of your life. Regret will dominate your existence. You will never be free. Your life will be a constant nightmare of wondering, what if, and if only. The pain of regret only grows heavier as the one day you were waiting for finally disappears. There is a massive difference between one day and day one. One day is a passive fantasy. Day one is an active choice. Day one is messy. It's the day you start the business and realize you have no idea what you're doing. It's the day you go for a run and can't make it to the end of the block without wheezing. It's the day you sit down to write and the page stays blank for 3 hours. But day one is where the magic happens. It's the only day that counts. Because once you have a day one, you can have a day two, and then a day three. And before you know it, you aren't waiting for a life anymore. You're living one. Break the cycle of busy. We use busy as a shield. I'm too busy to pursue my passion. I'm too busy to take care of my health. But let's be honest, you aren't busy. You're just distracted. You're prioritizing the trivial over the essential. You're spending your currency, your time, on things that won't matter in 5 minutes, let alone 5 years. If you audited your life, how much of your busy work is just a way to avoid the terrifying work of actually pursuing what you love? We fill our schedules so we don't have to face the silence. Because in the silence, we hear the truth. That we are wasting the only life we will ever have. Stop being busy and start being effective. Stop checking boxes and start building a legacy. Today is the only day. Demand of yourself. I'm done waiting. I'm done acting like I'm immortal. I'm done treating my life like a dress rehearsal for a show that's never going to open. I want you to look at your hands. Look at the lines on your palms. Those lines are a map of how much time has already slipped through your fingers. You can't get a single second back. Not one. The one-day delusion is over. There is only today. There is only the messy, imperfect, terrifying right now. Don't let your inner fire turn to ash. Don't let your dreams become ghosts that haunt your retirement. Pick up the pen. Make the call. Start the engine. Fail if you have to, but for the love of God, start. The world doesn't need more people who are planning to be great. The world needs people who are brave enough to be mediocre today so they can be magnificent tomorrow. Because one day, and this is the only one day that is guaranteed, you will run out of tomorrows. The question is, when that day comes, will you be looking back at a life lived or a life waited? Stop waiting. Start living before the clock stops ticking.